Friday. Welcome to Avio's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping you, the upcoming voiceover artists, grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Boy, I tell you what, I am super excited that it is Friday and we have just a few days. I think it's only about 5 or 6 days until Christmas. So I am absolutely thrilled. And as I've been going back over everything this week and starting to reflect on this entire year, which has been quite an amazing year, I think it's so easy for us to, well, I know it is. It's easy for us to lose focus. So today, what I want to talk to you about is some scary words. It's called voiceover audit. Okay, so you know I'm a goofball, but when I'm talking about voiceover audit, what I mean is I like to take time every month or a couple of months, and especially at the end of the year as well, to go over what I have done for the year, what I am currently doing, and more importantly, if it is working. And if it's not working, making that decision, having the courage to make a decision to change and to do something that may not be as popular. So real quick, before I dive into all of that, we have an incredible group. I know I've mentioned it a bunch, but I want to keep mentioning it in case somebody hasn't heard of it. It is our Fiverr Elite group. We meet every weekend. I go over, kind of let you dive into my top-rated seller account and talk about all the tips and the things that I've learned doing a lot of work on Fiverr. I think I'm almost to 1,600 voiceovers on Fiverr alone. So I love it. The group is fantastic. It's growing. Get your spot now. The link will be in the description below, or you can go to www.aviosjourney.com to check that out. Also, so let's get into the voiceover audit. And this is definitely going to be, I think it's going to be a great discussion today, because the thing is that, you know, let's be honest, we hear so much stuff. I hear so much stuff. You hear so much stuff from all over the voiceover community. Hey, you should do this. Hey, this is working. Hey, Anthony's making a killing over here, or Joe's making a killing over there, or Angela's making a killing over there. We should go do that. We should do that now. All right? And we try it out. We work really hard. And what happens? We don't get any success. We work so hard on an email campaign. We try to do social media because Anthony says do social media. We try to get ourselves going on Fiverr. We get a subscription to voices.com or Voice123, and we audition. We do all of these things, right? And what happens? They don't work. But then maybe we try one thing and it works a little bit, right? But we are constantly going back and forth doing all of this stuff. And it is so important. I mean, it is vital that you stop for a moment and you take a step back and do an audit. And what I mean by audit is, I mean, take an honest look at what's working and what's not working. If you've been trying something for a period of time, okay, and I don't mean you just started something yesterday and you're not, killing it yet. I mean, you've been trying something for a couple of months or a year or two, and it's just not getting the results that you want to get. It's time to look at it, okay? Look at it not from an emotional point of view, but look at it from a numbers point of view, from a logical point of view, and say, this is not working. It's not turning out the way I want it to turn out. I believe it should turn out better. Or the amount of effort I'm putting into this needs to give me a lot more return. So because of that, it's time for you then to make some decisions. But listen, I think a lot of people don't want to take an honest look at their business or what they're doing because they're worried that if they do, they will see exactly what I'm talking about. It's not working. And then what happens is we come to that moment where it's the scariest moment of all. I have no idea what to do, or I don't know then how to get business because this isn't working. And I can't fathom doing something different because I'm so entrenched. Like I'm in to what I'm doing that I can't shift. I can't turn. And it's nerve-wracking. So I understand why people don't want to look at their business. I get it. I really do. But here's the thing. You have to take an honest look. You've got to pull the curtain back. You've got to look at your business because if it's not working, you are wasting your time. And I promise you, the pain or the uncomfortableness that you feel up front from taking a look at what you're doing in your voiceover business will be so much less than the long-term regret or misunderstanding or blatant anger that you feel because of what you did not do or what you tried to do or what you thought you should have done or why is everyone else having so much success and I'm not. All right. So I think I've got that point out there. You need to take an honest look at your business and you need to see what's working and what's not working. 2 quick things, then we'll move on to the next part. One thing, how do you know if it's not working? Well, I think a safe bet would be, are you making what you want to make from that particular avenue? I guess the first thing is, are you making anything? Are you getting any traction? Are you getting, people responding to you? Are you generating leads? Are you getting booked for work? Are you getting anything? Then you might say, well, I am getting stuff, but it's not exactly what I want. That leads us to the second part. Before you do that, you got to know what you're trying to accomplish. See, I think audits are really good because they make us, for us in our business, they make us look at what is it that we're actually doing. When you look at something and you pull it apart, okay, and you try to understand what's happening with it, you have to take a look at what was the supposed outcome. What was it supposed to be? What was supposed to happen? And did it happen? But if you don't know what was supposed to happen or what you wanted to happen, then you can't really judge or make an intelligent decision on what did happen, right? Because if you didn't know what was supposed to happen, you could have exactly hit what you were doing. You just don't realize it because you didn't know what you were shooting for. So it's really, really important to have that outcome in mind because the outcome could be that on social media, you actually want to increase your, and I'm just using blanket things. You want to increase your engagement by, 50%. That is a hard rule by a time. So this is a great way to do goals, by the way. And I know we're talking about auditing, but I think it's so paramount. It's so important to understand both. Goals should be, in my opinion, very tangible, understandable, and in 3 parts. You need to have what you're trying to do, what it is that you're trying to do, by how much, and by when, right? So what you're trying to accomplish, by how much you want to accomplish it, by when. So let's say that you want to increase engagement on social media, right? Because we all are aware that engagement helps us grow our business because we want to engage with possible clients or customers. So engagement can be defined in this example as sometime when someone interacts with your with a post. Okay, meaning like a post that you make. So meaning a like, I'm using Twitter, for example, meaning a like, a retweet, or a comment. That's an engagement. And let's say over a week's time, you post, I'm using generic numbers here, but you post 10 posts, and those posts that you make, okay, you are getting two engagements. All right. So that means out of the 10 posts, 2 people or was 1 person. But either way, out of those 10 posts, you had 2 likes or you had 2 comments, or you had 2 retweets, or you had like a comment and a like, right? You had just 2 engagements. Okay? So let's say that your goal is, I want to increase engagement by 100%. All right? So let's say that you want to double it. So instead of 2, you want to go to 4. I want to increase my engagement by 100% in 1 week. Now you have given exactly what you're trying to do, what you're going to do it by, and when you're going to accomplish it. So now that you have that specific goal, you can work backwards and say, all right, if I post 10 posts and I'm getting 2 engagements, if I wanted to double it, okay, the first logical thing is I need to post 20 times, okay? Or I only not do I need to post 20 times, but maybe the 10 times I'm posting, I need to post content that makes people want to engage, like content that asks a question, content that has an intriguing idea, content that polls your, clients or customers, okay? Do you see what I'm saying here? So what happens is after 1 week, okay, you have come up with a criteria. So let's say you decide that you're going to post 20 posts the next week for 1 week, and those posts, 10 of them, or let's say 5 of them are going to be questions. 5, I'm just making this up. 5 are going to be, interesting ideas that you saw somewhere. 5 of them are going to be retweets of people you follow or people that have interesting ideas themselves. And 5 are just going to be fun little anecdotes of what you're working on. Okay? So you measure that, you audit that at the end of that next week. And did you reach that goal? Okay, but we can't audit any of that. We can't see if any of it's working unless you have that concrete goal. So let's move on to now looking at your business, okay? Let's say that you are on voices.com and you are trying to audition, all right? And you're auditioning, and let's say you're like, Anthony, I've done 100 auditions. Dag nabbit, I've got no business, okay? This thing doesn't work, okay? Then you do 150 auditions and you get a job. So now you look at, all right, I did 150 auditions. It's probably taken me to do 150 auditions, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, plus the time I've thought about it, plus the time every single day that I consistently have had to do this. I have to check it. I go back because, we all go back and see if they looked at our stuff or they liked what we did or we got an email and then we got to check that out. So all this takes time, right? So we look at that and we say, all right, I did 150 auditions. And let's say your 150 auditions took you a month. So you did 150 auditions over a month, all right, of time. And your goal was what? Let's say your goal was to make, hopefully you wanted to make $1,000. Okay, but first off and foremost, before we move forward there, let's hope that you had that goal. Because if you didn't have that goal, you're just shooting, you're shooting in the dark. Okay, but let's say that's our goal, right? We want to make $1,000 a month, okay, 150 auditions, and we've given a month time, right? So $1,000, 150 auditions on voices.com. We're just using that, or Voice123, and we want to do that in 1 month's time, okay? So looking at that, were we successful? You have to audit that. You've got to look and say, was I successful? And if you were not, you have to change course. You've got to make changes. Now, I don't mean that you make a U-turn and say, that's it, voiceover sucks. I ain't doing this crap anymore. I'm not saying you do that. I'm saying that you make a change with some little things, right? So maybe for the next month, you say, all right, I want to make $1,000 a month, okay? And let's say this previous month that you did 150 auditions, you made $200. So out of 150 auditions, in 1 month's time, I made $150. The next month, let's say that I want to make that $1,000 out of 150 auditions. So I want to increase that by, what is that? 200, so that's by what, 5? So I want to increase that by 500%. Is that right? Or something like that? Yeah, or yeah, double, triple, triple, 2, 4, 6, 8. I was right. Something like that. Okay. So I want to increase it from $200 to $1,000 in 1 month's time for doing 150 auditions. Now that you have that goal, you have to understand that what you did before didn't work. So doing it exactly the same is useless to you, right? Doing it exactly the same is useless. So what's important here is that you start to say, okay, well, I have to look at it differently. Maybe I need to try to do a little bit different way of auditioning. Maybe instead of 1 take, I offer 3 takes or 3 auditions, meaning that maybe instead of doing 1 take for the audition, I do 3 different takes differently. So I do them in 3 different tones or 3 different styles, or I try them out in 3 different inflections. And then I send that. And let's see what happens there. I mean, this whole thing, you guys, is a big test. Right? It's a big game. We're trying out new stuff and we're seeing what works. And what works for me might work for you. It might not work for you. The only way you figure that out is if you try it. Right? So it's all a big test. So maybe the next month, what you are doing is you decided now my 150 auditions, I'm going to include 3 takes for each audition. Okay? Maybe that's the only thing that you change, right? You have narrowed in on that. Now, when you do that and you get those numbers and you start to audit yourself again, what was the results? Maybe the results were, okay, well, this time I did 150 and I made, $500. So you doubled your amount. You did not get to the $1,000, but you doubled your amount. Said, okay, all right. So clearly I want to do 3, right? Because that works. So now I audit what I did and I say, okay, this is working, but I'm still not getting to 1,000. What else could I change? Okay. Maybe I need to change maybe I need to look at the jobs that I got. So maybe the jobs that I got, and again, I'm making all this up, but you understand what I'm saying. Maybe the jobs I got, the specific work I got hired for was for this, or this. So maybe when I audition from now on, I'm going to make specific auditions around those types of tones that I use well. And also, maybe I know because people's times are pressed, maybe I'm going to try to do just a sentence, like thanking them. Thank you so much. And I hope we get a chance to work together. Sincerely, Anthony. Maybe I'm just going to write that and include maybe my phone number and my email address, right? Because we're talking about voices.com or voice123. Don't do that on Fiverr. All right. But anyways, we're just talking about those right now. And I do that. So then the next month, I see if that worked. Maybe that doesn't have any change. All right. But then the next month, maybe I realize that I need to get to 200 auditions. And for whatever reason, I do 200 auditions and all of a sudden I get to 750 or 1,000 or 850 or, 930, whatever. You start, do you see what I'm getting at? You have to have all of these criteria to test yourself out and have these specific goals, all right, with what you're doing, how much you're going to do it by, and when are you going to accomplish it. In order for you to audit yourself, in order for you to figure out what is working and what is not working. And this should be on every part of your business. But most specifically, are we getting work? Right? If I was to take a step back and look at my Fiverr business, all right, and I say, okay, so I'm going to audit my Fiverr business. Over here, this particular gig I'm doing, okay? All right? My goal is to what? My goal is to generate, let's say $10,000 a month from this offering, okay? And I'm going to do what? Here's the thing about your goals, though. They have to be controllable. This is why sites like Fiverr and stuff do give a lot of people a little bit of pause. Because these sites, which I love, but there's a portion of it that is out of our control, right? We're not in control of the whole thing. So that is in itself a little difficult to audit when we're not in control of it. Because when you're in control of something and you can specifically make a change and you can specifically measure it, then you have more power over it, right? Then you have more power to change it. However, that does not mean, and this is where the rest of the audit comes in, that does not mean that is the best time spent for you right now. Because like I said, like I tell many people and myself, no matter how many videos and stuff I do not have the hundreds of millions of dollars that Fiverr has and these other places that just barrel down on marketing that can, beat us when it getting, for keywords on Google, pre-roll on YouTube, just the amount of stuff through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the, everywhere. It's very difficult to compete. Okay? That doesn't mean we shouldn't try and figure out our own ways in, again, with those goals, but we have to think about it differently. So if I said, though, looking at Fiverr, let's go back to that. If I said to Fiverr or any other casting site that does their own marketing for you, all right, I need to look at maybe some different criteria. For example, I need to audit myself and say, have I really filled out every single thing I could have? Fiverr wouldn't have put it on my site if they didn't want me to fill it out. They wouldn't have put it there. But did I fill it out? Did I fill out everything? All right. I'm not going to dive too much into the Fiverr stuff because I really want people to, enjoy the group for the Fiverr Elite group. But the point I'm trying to make is that you need to audit yourself, not just if what you're making there, but on the sites like Fiverr or Upwork or People Per Hour or Voiver or Voquin, all these different places that you can get on to that markets for you that you're not paying, right? Because not based on your auditions, based on samples and stuff. Are you uploading samples? Are you putting new demos? Are you trying out new copy? Are you trying out new pictures? You know me, I'm big about your headshot and the photos that you show. All of these things you have to include in your audit. And then you've got to be real if it's not working. And then after you take all of this, we put it together, and you've got to have the courage to change. You've got to make the change. Don't wait because you're nervous or scared about changing. Don't wait because someone told you don't ever do short books on ACX or you'll never be taken seriously. Yeah, I heard that one. Don't wait because of what other people say. Follow your gut. And if your gut's wrong, that's great. You figured out what didn't work. Move on to the next thing. But so many of us are so caught up on the emotional part of this, like, oh, we suck, we're no good, no one's gonna love me. My mother hated me. I'm being silly today, but you get the point, right? You get the point. We're so caught up on the fear of failing that we're forgetting to take a step back and look at this as imagine if you step back and took your business and removed it, and now it's like this ball in front of you. That's your business, is this ball hovering in front of you. It is detached from you, your emotions, your all of it, everything, right? It is its own entity. Now, the way you control this ball and you have it do the things you have to do, all right, you make it very strategic based on what you want this ball to accomplish. You want this ball to go from where it is all the way over to the other end of the room. Okay? There is going to be a series of actions that you need to take in order to get this ball from one end of the room to the other. It has nothing to do with your emotions. It has nothing to do with your feelings. Yes, we use intuition, which can be based on emotions. But the point is that if we try something, like, for example, if we try to use our pinky to move the ball and we can't move it, we're going to try something else. We might try to use two fingers to move the ball. No, that's stupid. Hopefully you're laughing and not being like, oh my God, and turn the channel. All right. But the point is that we tried something else. It didn't work. Okay. We are not overly emotional about it because this is not attached to us. It is over here. It is a new, different entity. Right. So that, cause it's like, I suck. I can't move the ball with my two fingers. Okay. It's not that. Maybe you're like, okay, that's it. I'm going all in. I'm going to try the whole hand this time. All right. and you hit the ball, and that's great. It goes a little bit more distance. It goes about halfway, and you're like, oh my gosh, that really works, but I got to get it the last part of the way, and I lost all my, what is it? I lost my finger. I can't use my hand anymore. I don't know why I'm making myself laugh, but the point is, now I'm like, that's it. I'm using my foot. All right, now you kick that ball, and it goes all the way to the end of the room, and you're like, yes, I did it. I made it happen. It had nothing to do with how I felt about it would be painful if I lost my finger. But you get what I'm saying, right? There's a pain that is different. It's not the emotional pain because it's not me like looking at myself saying, am I worth it or am I not worth it? Am I good enough or am I not good enough? Instead, we switch it to, did this work or did it not work? If it worked, great. Let's build on that and keep doing it. If it did not work, great. Let's try something else. Does that work? Not really. Okay, great. Let's try something else. Oh, that's working a little bit. Okay, but could it be better? Sure. Let's try something else. Oh, that's working really well. Great, but we can add this. Do you see what I mean? It has nothing to do because it's a separate entity. And if it helps you to think of it that way, I want you to think of it that way. Okay? I don't know where that came from. It's Friday. Whee! I had a salad, so I don't know what they put in the salad before I had lunch. But anyways, all right. Well, if you if you have any questions, comments, I know people are probably like, oh my God. But if you got something to say, go ahead and take the time. I can see the numbers on the bottom. Like people are like, leave. That's right. If you have any questions, go ahead, post them now. If you can as well, like if you're on Twitter, please retweet this, like it, share it. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Take a moment to do that. Make sure you like this as well. If you're in Facebook, go ahead and like it. Share it with somebody you feel like need it. Instagram, thank you for sticking around. Instagram is always interesting because like people come and go on Instagram, and I don't know the numbers, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like so many people come through Instagram, but none of them stay. they're like, oh crap, it's that guy again. All right, let's see. Let's see who's over here. We've got, which I love, Mouth Almighty VO. I love that picture, Mouth Almighty. DJ, what's up? Mr. Scott Hunter. Lockland, Pipe Dog Productions, welcome. Let's see, The Reality of Voice Acting with Richard Hawks, what's up, man? Show You the Funny, what's up? Angela, Thomas, Big Jim, Switch Gaming, Jeremy, Greg, sorry late, stupid autocorrect, all right, Sherry, what's up, Sherry? Although you have been crazy busy, the last few vlogs have been on point. Thank you and happy holidays to you and your fams. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. Greg, you're silly. Thanks, Greg. The Reality of Voice Acting. I love the emoji. Cody, I'm going to have to catch up with this on YouTube. The Reality of Voice Acting. All right, appearing at the Funny Bone in Virginia Beach. There you go. I forget that year, like, because I'm in Williamsburg, so there are some people who watch this that are actually pretty close to me. We got to hook up sometime. Maybe one day we'll all have, like, a big a VO's Journey conference. Ooh, we got to have it in Vegas, right? I've never been to Vegas, so I don't know, but that would be fun. I always wanted to have my own conference. I don't know why. I got to go to the Chapel of Love. Let's see. Show you that must have been a great salad. Yeah. Hogs love it. Hey, Eric. Hey, Anthony. I hung with you. Stuff on business is very useful too. Thanks. Good, Eric. I'm glad. I know I was being a goofball, but hopefully you really you got the importance of what I was saying. Okay. And that you need to take that audit. And by the way, part of your audit could be, do I actually have those goals? Are my goals that specific? Are they too ambiguous? Are they just too much out there for me to actually reach it? Like, guys, I hate to say this, but saying I want to make $10,000 a month, that's not enough. You want to make $10,000 a month doing what? By when? Right? Because you can make $10,000 a month doing all kinds of stuff. But if you want to make $10,000 a month doing podcast intros and outros by the year 2021, that's a decent goal. That's too long, I think. To me, I don't like goals that are beyond 6 months or a year. I think a year is about the longest I like to do. I like to make them shorter because we need to see whether or not they're working or not. And I think in our day and age, with the speed of everything, it should not take us that long to get to that type of goal. I know it's hard for all of us, but for me too, and I didn't realize it, but really generating $10,000 a month is not actually that difficult once you get dialed into what's working. You just got to get dialed into it. What happens in Vegas? Yeah. Greeting once again. Talon, what's up? Erica Wong, I was just thinking we should have a conference. I know. Oh, that would be so much fun. Hey, Anthony. All right. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today and putting up with my silliness. All right. Greg says, my goal is $300 a day by this time next year. That's about my current salary. Okay. Well, Greg, that's great, but there needs to be more to it. Okay, because this is what I was just talking about. So $300 a day, that's just a blanket. I mean, you can make $300 a day in tons of stuff, all right? But there needs to be, I would love for you to have more of a concrete goal, all right? Like, I would like to, and here's the issue with that, right? Like, what are you making now a day in voiceover? So it needs to be something like, I want to go from $5 a day to $300 a day doing voiceovers by by the end of 2020. Okay? That's a great goal because we understand that you've got to go from here to here by doing this. And I actually think by doing voiceovers is still too ambiguous. Okay, you need to even boil it down even more, but that's actually not too bad because from within that goal, you pull out other goals, right? You pull out other goals like, okay, so now I know I want to get to from $5 to $300 doing voiceovers by the end of 2020. Okay, what do I need to do in order to accomplish that goal? So right now I'm making $5 a day, okay, because this week or this month I made $150. And I'm doing that I get a couple of jobs on Fiverr. So let's look at the Fiverr account. Where am I getting the jobs? What's happening there? What are people hiring me for? Okay, people are hiring me for IVRs. Okay, so what can I add? Because you're going to have to do something else, right? You're going to have to add something to this goal. Okay, then you're going to create 1 to 3 small goals that you can accomplish every single day that you can control the outcome of them. Like if you do X, Y, Z, all right, these things will happen. If you do this, this will happen. If or then statements, right? If I do this, then this will happen. If I do this by this time, by this much, this will happen. Okay, totally important. If you're not thinking this way, that's a part of the audit. Like, am I just, praying to God Almighty that it happens? All right, He's wonderful, but He gave us a brain to use. We got to use it. Okay? So use it in this manner, and I think it will help you out. Okay. Like master my editing skills as well. Yeah, that's fine, but hopefully my explanation was a little bit help you out a little bit more about what I was saying. All right, you guys. Well, hey, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys watching as always. And like I said, if you didn't get a chance, make sure you check out the Fiverr Elite group. Really having a blast. It's really exciting and got a really cool episode this weekend. We're not going to meet until Sunday this weekend, though, because like I said earlier, I had a death in the family. I'm going to a memorial service this Saturday, tomorrow, but I will be on Sunday at 4. You have to be a part of the group, though, to come. So please check that out. You can go to www.avosjourney.com to check that out, or you can check out the link below that will be in this after I go back through and edit it all. And, of course, if you have any questions, it's in the Facebook group as well. That was pinned to the top, I believe, earlier this week. So anyways, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. Audit yourself. Take a real look. Do not be afraid to say, well, crap, this isn't working. What do I need to do to make it work? I've got to try something different. Listen to me. If it's not working, you've got to try something different. I don't mean try a different vocation. Keep doing voiceover, but I mean try to take a new tact. And a new tact can be a simple little switch. Like maybe I'm going to add, new samples every day to my work where I wasn't before, right? Maybe I'm going to try what I said before and add 3 audition takes instead of 1. The 3 really works, by the way. Really helps. All right? Because I do that, and it's increased me getting... It's changed my auditioning. It really has. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will talk to you next week. We're almost at Christmas, so happy holidays. And see you then. If it's snowing there, be safe. If not, peace out. See you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.